Here we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Interviewing with our Alumni Coaches. Today, we are with the smiley and ever always happy Jose Gavilanes. How you doing, Jose?
Hey Nick, thank you for having me here. I feel lucky to be in this interview with you. You are by far the best coach I've ever seen teaching the game. You're amazing, and I was so lucky to learn from you. So thank you for having me here.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, and we miss you because we'll talk now where you're at the moment. But where are you now? Where did soccer take you?
Well, so soccer took me to Virginia Beach, Virginia. I love it here. It's a small paradise. So I'm just really happy. Really happy that I'm able to coach soccer here. That's all I do all day. I kick the ball all day until I go to sleep. From the moment I wake up, I kick the ball with Liam until I go to sleep. And in between waking up and going to sleep, I have my kids. I have to do my sessions.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy here. So Virginia Beach has been a good city for me. Yeah, I miss Chicago with passion, but at the same time, I'm happy to be here in Virginia Beach. I coach for Beach FC, which is a top club in this part of the country. It's a huge club, great club. So also, I feel lucky to be coaching for Beach FC.
That's great. You got the good weather, I'm sure, there as well.
Oh my God, the beach! I love the beach.
We got to take some teams out there soon. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into, you just mentioned there kind of the passion that you have just for the game, and we're going to get into that in this interview, which is staggering when I look through the kind of notes that we talked about of your career as a player and obviously into a coach. But just touch on Liam. Obviously, you have a young boy. How old is he?
Liam, he's 4. So I remember when he was just a little guy, just a newborn, and I had to go to the meetings. I had to take Liam with me to the meetings, and you allowed me to do that. So those were good times.
Yeah, that was his first intro into coaching and soccer for sure. That was brilliant. So, right, we're going to kick off, from the start, as far back as we can go. But what's your first kind of memory of growing up? Where did you grow up? And how did you get into soccer?
So I'm from Quito. Yeah, I'm from Quito, Ecuador. So in Ecuador, soccer is the main, if not the only sport. So every boy plays soccer. The early memories that I have is me being a little kid going to the grocery store with a soccer ball. So if my dad sent me to the grocery store, I used to go with the soccer ball. Or if I go to visit a friend, I used to go with the soccer ball. So everywhere I went, there was always a soccer ball involved. I was always playing 1v1s with my best friend or 2v2s with the neighbors, or just kicking the ball against the wall really, really hard to improve my ball control. And that helped me to improve my skills a lot. So I thank the wall for teaching me how to, how to get better, yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, growing up, did you have coaches and things like that? But the wall would have been one of your coaches. But how was the structure growing up compared to what you see today in the US as a youth player?
It's very different. I don't remember having proper coaches in Ecuador until I was U16.
Oh, wow.
I never had a coach that really cared about developing my game. The way that we developed the game was playing in the street soccer. That's how you got to be smart and learn how to do tricks. Soccer practices were just strength and conditioning, just going up and down the stairs and running for an hour around the soccer field. And then finally, when you were tired, you just do a little bit of a pickup game. So that was soccer training back in the days.
I think it was the same in Ireland. We weren't trained the way we are today. It was an emphasis on fitness and strength, and I guess we were all just good players playing on the street, right? It was just
exactly that's where you found yourself as a player playing in the street, and that's what I used to do a lot. So the love for the game really began when my father took me to the stadium. So I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and my dad took me to the stadium to watch a game, and just seeing the energy of the fans and the soccer ball, the spinning, and when the when the players were switching the point of attack, they send the ball on the air and the precision to go from one player to the other. So all of that just made me fall in love with the game, and I wanted to go with my dad every weekend to the stadium because I really enjoyed watching the game.
And what was that? Just your home team, home pro team?
No, we used to go to Quito to watch the games in Quito. So I grew up in a suburb 20 minutes away from Quito. We also have our own team, but back in the day, that team was in second division.
Okay.
So to go and watch the pro games, we had to go to Quito. So not a bad drive, 20 minutes drive, not bad.
What's the name of the team?
Team's pretty good teams.
What's the name of your team?
Oh, the name of the team, Independiente del Valle.
Okay.
So that's the name of the team from our town. So like I said, back in the day, it was a second division team, nothing special, small club for our town. But again, I didn't play structured soccer or competitive soccer until I was U12. When I was U12, there was this big tournament, and it was in the main stadium.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so my team got to we finished in third place in that tournament. So that made me feel good about my skills.
Yeah.
I was able to make friends with the best players from the other teams, and then later on we ended up playing in the same high school, playing together. So it was a great experience, that U12 tournament. That's when I realized that I could play competitive soccer.
Right.
Then high school, I went to La Salle High School in Quito.
Okay.
So it's a high school with a lot of tradition in sports, excellence in academics. So obviously, making the high school team is hard because everybody plays soccer. So when I made it, it gave me a boost. I felt that I was good, that I was a good player because I made the high school team. So again, I got to play with excellent players. It was a really, really good experience to play high school soccer in Ecuador. Club soccer.
It's funny you mentioned that there. That we talked to JD last week about it. Is there's something special when you find your way kind of socially through a sport and through this game, right? So at 12, you're a good player, you're playing, but when you play against that next level and you can compete, you get this, you get this respect right away from those other people, and it can just literally fill you with everything, right? And it just lets you feel like you're invincible. And then you went on to play high school. So is high school similar to high school here in the US in terms of varsity and JV, or?
Yes, it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar to what it is here. However, the fields are not as they are here. In Ecuador, we play in dirt.
Yeah.
We don't have the turf fields or the grass fields. It's just dirt. So that's where you see the true talented players able to control a ball that, in reality, it has to come to your foot, but because of the bounces of the field, it ends up coming to your chest.
Yeah.
So you gotta be prepared to receive those balls, and you see a lot of talented players playing in those fields.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, I think we're spoiled here, right, with all the turf fields and that.
Yeah, we know the turfs and grass and equipment. But yeah, we're a little spoiled.
So where did the journey then go after high school then? So you got serious then, you said U16, it kind of kick-started, and where did it go?
So U16, I played club. I played for Independiente del Valle, which was the local club. Like I said, a second division club. All the good players playing that club, either U18, U16, U14, U12. So it was basically a club from our town. Right. Nowadays, Independiente del Valle is a big club in the top league of Ecuador. Yeah, last fall they won the South American Championship. They won against Colón from Argentina. So that small team now is huge, and it has the best youth academy in the country.
Wow.
So I'm proud that I was able to play there when I was 16. Of course, it was nothing like how it is now.
Right. But to be attached to that, and I'm sure you go home and you check it out, and you still have friends there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have friends that coach there. I have friends that play there. So it's fun. I always check in the website for Independiente del Valle. And also, anytime I bring teams from the US to Ecuador, we always go to their facility to do a tour, to visit.
Nice.
So it's fun. Um, After 16, after high school, the summer after high school, I went to Chicago to visit my sisters. I have two sisters that live in Chicago.
Okay.
So one of them used to live close to the Ruiz Park location.
The west side, right?
So Ruiz Park is in the west side of the city.
Yeah.
There is a big Hispanic community there. A lot of Colombians, Guatemalans, Mexicans, Peruvians. So soccer games, pickup games in this park are insane, are really, really intense. So it's fun to go play in that park. Also, teams that compete in the Hispanic leagues in Chicago train in that park. So every time you go to this park in the afternoon, there is always soccer going on. So I didn't know anybody in Chicago. I didn't know anything about Chicago. I just knew this park and I saw people playing soccer. So I went to play in that park. And I noticed that a guy was watching the game, but I just kept playing, right? So then at the end of the game, this guy came to me, and it happens to be Coach Juan Franco. He coaches at Morton College. He also played professional soccer in Mexico. So anyway, Coach Franco talked to me about going to tryouts. He told me that there is an opportunity for a scholarship, but I had to go to tryouts first. So I got his business card. I wrote down the dates for the tryouts. So trials were in July, right? I went to the trials in July, and I ended up making the team. And not only I made the team, but he gave me a fuller scholarship. So, Coach Franco, if you ever watch this interview, thank you so much. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to start my life in the right direction, right? Sometimes you need those people in your life.
Absolutely.
And Coach Franco was there, and he put me in the right direction. So yeah, I played 2 years for Morton College. He gave me a full scholarship. Both years we lost the conference final, which
What division was that, Jose?
So Morton College is a junior college, but they play Division One, junior college Division One. It's a 2-year school.
Yeah.
So I was able to play there for 2 years. After the 2 years, Robert Morris University scouted me. So it's a small school, small private school from Chicago.
Yeah.
I was able to finish there my career, my soccer career, and my academics. I also got a scholarship for Robert Morris. And my senior year, we won the USCWA championship. So it's just a small soccer national tournament for small private schools. And Robert Morris, we won it all. I ended up being the MVP of the national tournament.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But I think it's to touch on, so, I mean, an amazing story, amazing journey. Just, it's great to hear how these coaches and where they come from. And that's why we're kind of doing these interviews. But to go back to, obviously the college piece, I think it's important for people to know and understand, especially our kids in our club listening, the opportunities within these so-called smaller schools, right? Where a lot of people think they want to go play D1, which is great to aspire and have that. But to understand that there is a career and the experience, just speak a little bit about the experience of both colleges from, a life perspective, but also level of football. I mean, obviously you must have been a very talented player to come over and get a full ride, where you still were challenged and developed as a player in these programs. So just speak a little bit about each one.
Sure. So first of all, I didn't think that I was gonna play college because my parents didn't have money to pay for my college.
Right.
So I was on the right spot at the right time. Coach Franco wasn't even looking for me. He was looking for a different player. He went to that park just to look for a player that he heard that he's really good.
Right.
And he ended up watching me playing soccer and inviting me to the tryout. So things happen for a reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing in a junior college was really challenging. First, you're a student athlete. So first, academics, you have to do well at school. I had a scholarship, so I had to keep a 2.5 GPA to keep my scholarship, right? So I had to focus on learning the language, keeping up with the school, with homework, going to practices. I got a part-time job, so life became really, really hectic.
Yeah.
But I was able to manage it all and do it, and the level was crazy. Like you play against these really talented players that, in my mind, all of them had to be in a Division One school, but for some reason, they had to get better grades.
Yeah.
So they go to junior college to fix the grades and to be able to transfer within a
Right.
year or two to a bigger university.
Yeah.
So I play with guys that ended up playing in Division One schools.
Right.
So I
And
mean,
that's
it's
important. That's why I wanted to push on that, because a lot of people look at junior college and don't think of it really as an option. And it really is a great option to step into a smaller school, smaller classes, and get that student piece, I guess, under grip, so that when you do want to go to a D1, you do that. But then the level of soccer is still very, very high.
yeah. I met guys that they play junior college and then they play there for 2 years. 2 years later, they went playing pro. Um,
Not
it's
surprising.
not, yeah, it's not a bad experience playing for a junior college.
Yeah.
For me, it worked. I was able to learn the language. I was able to get my education. I
Yeah.
was able to make friends, connections, and just like I said, I began my life in the right direction. Because I came to the US and I didn't know anything. I didn't know how life was gonna
Yeah.
be. I
Just
didn't
on
know
a
anything
vacation.
about it. Exactly. I just came for a vacation, summertime, and look at me 20 years later.
Brilliant. It's great. So then, yeah, so you played Robert Morris, success, MVP, all that good stuff. And then I know you got back into then your first coaching gig. What was that?
So first coaching gig, I will say in the summers, I used to do a little bit of coaching. I used to get involved in recreational programs and coach there.
Right.
So I kind of like it. However, after college, I still pursue my career or trying to play at a high level soccer. And
Yeah.
I play semi-pro indoor soccer in the
Oh,
Midwest
that's right. You
in
did, yeah.
some leagues. Yeah, it was really, really competitive. It was tough. Also playing with guys that 2 years ago were playing in the MLS, and now they are playing back in these semi-pro leagues because they want to go back to the MLS.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's yeah, there's a lot of talent. Also playing in the leagues in Chicago, there is a lot of talent in these leagues in Chicago. There is players from Poland that play professionally in Poland, and now they are in Chicago, and they end up playing for the Polish team. And
Yeah.
same with the Croatians and the Serbians and the Bosnians. So it's very competitive, the soccer in Chicago.
Yeah. What was the team you played for again, indoor?
I played for Northern Illinois Rebels. That was the name of the team in the American Indoor Soccer League. It was supposed to be a professional indoor soccer league, but it was more like a semi-pro.
Yeah.
One time we had to go to Boston to play against the Massachusetts Twisters. So we were so excited. We thought, oh my God, we're gonna get plane tickets. And our coach showed up in a van. So it was 14 of us, a 15 passenger van,
Yeah.
driving 16 hours to Boston to play a game. And then the club didn't have money for a hotel.
Oh,
So after the game, we shower and then boom, driving back to Illinois.
did you win at least?
No.
Even better.
But it's experience, it's
Oh, absolutely.
a
You've got
life
a great.
experience. Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
something
also we
that
have,
I've never really done. I haven't played indoor, to that level, which is it's interesting that it is a big thing in Chicago, over at the Odeum and things like that. I've played.
yeah, the Odeum, oh my God, Villa
Level
Park,
is crazy, man.
it's big. So again, playing at Villa Park, I used to play for this team called West Bosnia, right?
Oh,
What
okay.
is that? What is an Ecuadorian guy doing in a Bosnian team? But also, the goalie from my college was a Mexican guy, and he was the goalie for the West Bosnia team. So he was the Mexican guy, an Ecuadorian guy, and a bunch of Bosnians playing against the Polish team, playing against the Colombian team, against the Mexican team, the Jamaicans, the Assyrians. So it's like playing a World Cup. Every single nation has their own team. So that was a really amazing experience playing soccer at the Odeum in Villa Park.
Yeah,
Great times.
yeah. I
Great
mean,
times.
I played with a Croatian and a Serbian team out there, and they never spoke English. I was the only one, but I would encourage anyone that's listening when things start back up again, it's just to go watch, because it is frightening the level. The ex-pros, ex-college players, young players coming up, and if anybody can get involved in playing in it, it really is a great experience. And for
The
parents
Chicago
to see and
Fire, yeah, the Chicago Fire U23 has a team there at the Orium
in the Metro League,
on, yeah, on Friday nights. Yeah.
that's
So
brilliant.
it's really competitive. It's fun. So yeah, eventually, I have a degree in healthcare management, and eventually my job became more demanding. I didn't have time to go to play anymore or to go to practice. And if you don't practice, you cannot perform at the same level. So if I wasn't going to practice, I wasn't getting enough playing minutes on the weekends, and I didn't like to be sitting on the bench. So yeah,
It's not your
that pulled me,
style.
that pulled me away from soccer. So I got a job as a marketing manager for a plastic surgeon. I was really good at it, but I wasn't passionate about it. That wasn't my thing. I didn't want to be sitting in front of a computer the entire day. I wanted to be out there kicking the ball. So I wanted to give coaching a try. Like I said before, I experienced a little bit of coaching here and there during college,
Yeah.
but now I really wanted to do it as a profession. I called one of my friends. He was working for Evanston at the time, and he told me to get my licenses. So I began with the e-license. Then I talked to Coach Franco again. Coach Juan Franco, thank you so much. He he gave me a job as an assistant coach for the Morton College program. That fall, we won the Region 4 title. So it's hard to win the Region 4 title.
Yeah.
We were one game away from going to nationals. Great team and great experience coaching. The same fall, I was coaching a soccer program at the Windy City Field House in
Right.
Chicago. And that's where I met you. And again, I was in the right place at the right time. I was able to meet with you. We talked. You spoke to me about the Junior Soccer Academy, the possibility of me helping you with that.
Yeah.
And we had some meetings, and eventually I became involved with the Junior Soccer Academy, and my journey with Chicago City began at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting, and I always think back, and it brings back good memories of, like, JD last week and when we first meet, and for me it's always like you just get a good vibe about someone and a good feeling about someone, and then when you obviously connect through soccer, but then also as a person, it's kind of like, okay, and then for me in the position is I like what I hear, I like what I see, but now they got to prove it, right? And we started off with that little academy in Windy City Fieldhouse, which was a great intro. And then, yeah, I mean, just it excelled from there. So just then kind of tell me, once you got in, and you kind of started off part-time and then you became full-time, obviously coaching 4 teams. And you were here, what, total of 2 years?
5 teams.
5 teams 1 year. You were lucky.
Yes.
Yeah, just talk to us a little bit about, I guess when you came into the club. I mean, obviously we've evolved so much when you were here, and obviously still to now. But what things that stood out to you as an organization, as a club, from your other experiences, and then how did you take that to get to where you are now today?
So I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, when I went to Chicago City Soccer Club. I thought I was just gonna be, teaching a kid how to kick the ball. I thought that was gonna be all, but it wasn't that. It was complete different story. Yeah, at Chicago City, I found a group of guys that really care about the development of the kids.
Yeah.
It's not really about the paycheck. It's really about the club. Everybody in Chicago City cares about, first of all, the development of the kids. Second, about the club. They're about your name. So when you put those 3 things together, I mean, it's a combination for good. Chicago City was my dream job. I used to go there and I used to spend a lot of hours with my buddies, talking about soccer. trying to teach the kids the right way. In the mornings, I used to go with Slavo on review sessions, and he helped me a lot to discover me as a coach. Craig did the same thing. Craig, we were always looking at sessions together and just see ways to improve the kids. How can we help the kids to get better at the game? And so what my philosophy was, if I got better as a coach, my kids are gonna get better as players. So I was always pursuing people with knowledge, and also trying to get my education, my licenses. You were really big in that, pushing people to get their education. So thank you, Nick. That was a wonderful job that you did with me.
Appreciate that, and I think you know what you and I appreciate the kind words, but I think you made it easy, and I think like a lot of our staff do, you make it easy because you want to learn. You actually listen, you take on advice, you ask questions, and like if it's not from me, like you said, you seeked out our senior members of staff, and they were more than willing to, like you say, sit down with you in their off time per se, and it was you trying to be the best that you could be, and I'm proud of you for that, and it's great to see obviously where you've come from that, and that's what we want and we strive to do here, right? So that's great to hear, man.
And also with Omer, with Omer, you always have these conversations about soccer. So I had great mentors, and I feel lucky. I feel lucky that I was at the beginning of Chicago City with you guys, because I learned so much. Um, I learned how to be a better coach, and just the people that I learned from. That makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, no, I think it's one thing that we all talk about, and one thing that JD said as well last week is it's a team. It's not mean it's friends. You still speak to these guys, right? And it's something that is what it should be about. We're all passionate about it, so to be able to work in it, we're grateful and humble. But then, how do we, like you say, how do we make each other better? I mean, that's fantastic. I love hearing that.
I love that. I love that the fact that we had the same vision. Everybody had the same vision, and we just care about the club. And one of the things that I care about the most is I didn't want to disappoint you.
Yeah.
So I tried to be the best because I had you to look up to.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I love the kind words. So then, like, you went through that time, and then obviously, unfortunately for us and for your teams and parents, there was a lot of tears, as was with JD. But just kind of go through, I mean, why you left and how you left, and then how you ended up where you are today.
Yeah, so I didn't want to leave. My wife is from Virginia Beach, so with Liam being little, we wanted him to be outside, to be playing outside. And Chicago, the winter is too long. So as a family, we decided to come to Virginia Beach. I didn't want to at the beginning. We had so many fights because of that. Chicago City was my dream job. I was living life. But in a way, I'm happy that we ended up coming to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is just a little paradise where the soccer community is amazing. Soccer is so competitive here in Virginia Beach. I didn't think the level was gonna be that great. Same with the club. I didn't know the club was so big and so with a brand name and recognition in the state, and always winning state titles, and it's crazy. So I'm glad that I'm in this part of the country, and especially coaching for Beach FC.
Yeah. And I had the pleasure of being on a panel with your executive director last week, Steve, and he spoke so highly of you, and he was thanking us for producing great talent. But it was like, he works his butt off. He got there himself. He was like, send me some more. So he's very happy with you over there, and things are going well. So congratulations to you.
Steve Domboski, Mark Wadey, really great soccer guys. I'm glad to be working for them. So eventually, I came here to Virginia Beach. I got my teams. I'm happy here in Virginia. Besides coaching for Beach FC, I also coach. I'm the head coach for the boys side at Green Rock High School.
Nice.
I also, last fall, I coached for the ODP 2005 boys in the Virginia, in the Southeast region.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I stay involved coaching for top programs under the BGFC umbrella.
Right.
So yeah, I try to stay busy. I also have my own business. It's called SEP, Soccer Exchange Program.
Yeah.
So
Tell us a bit
basically,
more about that and how it started, because we were involved in it, which was it's still
yes.
talked about here in Chicago every year.
So I launched this program when I was in Chicago working with you. I took my first team to play a soccer tournament in Ecuador, and it was just fascinating. You know, we went around Christmas time, and it was just something else. It was a unique experience. Not only because of the soccer and the sights we went to see and the food, but we also went to help at an orphanage.
It was brilliant.
Uh, yeah, and giving these kids time, we play with them and we interact. And at the end, it was probably 2 days before Christmas. So at the end, we gave them gifts. And oh my God, that was just an experience that I'm never going to forget, seeing the happiness in those faces. So I still have that program. I still bring teams from USA to Ecuador, and we're still helping the local orphanage. So it's just a unique experience. Last year, I was able to take two teams from Beach FC down to Ecuador to play soccer, and it was just quality. My partner there, Jorge Villarroel, also, if you're watching, Jorge, hello. He also brings teams from Ecuador to the US, so they also experience the American culture. How do we live soccer here? How do we train? And yeah, so it's a mutual exchange.
Yeah, it's like I said at the start, it's still spoke about highly here. People remember it, and I remember saying when you came to me with the idea, I was like, brilliant. I said, but those dates probably won't work because you were getting back at Christmas Eve. But you pulled it together. I think you took nearly 30 people. Some siblings went. Some people turned it into a holiday. And for me, what I liked the best was that give back. That was the soccer's great. Like you said, all that stuff is fantastic. It's a big part of it. But to be able to give back the way you guys did was phenomenal. And then for Jorge to bring the guys back over, I think it was either the year before or a year later, was brilliant. And I know we were supposed to go this spring, right? I was hoping to take a team down there with you, but maybe next
But
year.
eventually, Nick, eventually we'll go together, Nick. And
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that you gave me all the tools that I needed to do this. You opened the doors for my project, and it became a fantastic experience. So once again, thank you, Nick.
Yeah,
Um,
again, I'll say thank you, but you put the work in, right? You do it yourself, you know. And I remember when you came, and I was like, I had a lot on my plate at that time, and I was like, I don't need another project, but I said, if you can do it, I'll work with you. Let's make it happen, and it was great. And I hope to do that to bring teams back to Ireland and do the same thing one day too. Right. Well, we're gonna go into our last little piece here. Just talk to me. Just give me some, I guess, hope in the time we're in right now. What does the future look like for soccer in Virginia? What does soccer look like for the US? And even if you want to touch on Ecuador, what does the future look like in this game?
I think the US is gonna be eventually a powerhouse in soccer. We have so many young, talented guys. It's crazy, especially because we're a country full of immigrants. And immigrants, what do? We play soccer. So we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of potential. Now, the problem is some of these potential players don't play soccer at the moment because they don't have the funds to pay for to play in a club, right? I saw so many of those guys playing at Riz Park, like, wow, what a great player. But I'm pretty sure they never got the chance to play in a club because they don't have the means.
Right.
So that's the biggest problem that the US is facing right now. However, there is talent, and there are kids that we're gonna hear in the future that are gonna be the next Dempsey or the next Pulisic, even better than them.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot of potential. Virginia, like I said, I never expected the talent to be so crazy here and the competition. It's just out of the world. But also the distances that we have to travel here. Um, other clubs are 2 hours away, 4 hours away. So
Wow.
yeah, it's not like we're going to Downers Grove or Highland Park, you
You
know.
wish you were sitting in traffic in Chicago.
Yes, yes. Instead, we're in the open freeway going to Richmond, 2 hours to play against the Richmond Kickers, and but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
However, I enjoy doing it. I keeps me alive. Every time that I get a chance to jump in the pitch and play with my kids, I do it. I know you used to hate it, but it's the only time that I get to play soccer in the day. So
Yeah.
for 15 minutes, I jump in the pitch and I try to school them and play with them. But also that gives me a bonding with my teams, you know.
I've
So they
loosened
become
up on it
close to.
since. I think there
Huh?
is a need for it. I've loosened up on it since, and I think there is a good need for it there. I think it shows, you know, as long as the coach, which was always the worry, if the coach is showing off, then the players then resent them, and that's where it's a fine balance. But like you said, there is a piece where you can really bond with them on the field. I agree.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. Um, the future in Ecuador. To be honest with you, wow, Ecuador. I've seen so many players that had everything in their hands to play pro, but they made the wrong choices. Like it's so easy to get alcohol in Ecuador being underage.
Yeah.
Uh, so easy to go to parties being underage. So easy to get into drugs being underage. So instead of focusing and fighting for your dream of becoming a professional player, you take the easy way out and you just go with your friends. And so
It's hard work and it's
yeah,
sacrifice.
it's a hard work. It's mental, how much you want it.
Yeah.
And Ecuador has that problem. They have first to work on the mentality of the players before they can keep progressing.
Yeah.
Here we have everything. We have the equipment, we have the installations, we have the coaches, we have the kids with the right mentality, we have parents that care about the kids. So we're in our way to be power a powerhouse in soccer.
And I think and it sounds like you found the right home, you found the right club with good leadership, you know, and you sound very happy there, and that's really what matters. And it gives you the space to express yourself and give back to the game, which I know you always want to do. So that's great to hear. Great to hear.
Yes, I'm happy. At the same time, Chicago City will always have a piece in my heart. You know, I miss Chicago. I miss my friends. Uh, you guys became my buddies. You know, we used to do everything together. We used to go eat together,
Yeah.
drink together, even play soccer together. You know.
Well,
So
when you're back again, let's get you in and maybe talk to some of the, especially the high school players, maybe about Morton and Robert Morris and things like that, and let's give them a bit of a taste of like what we just talked about today. I think it's great.
yeah,
Awesome.
soccer has been really really good to me. You know, it gave me a special bonding with my dad. It gave me the opportunity to travel, like being in so many places because of soccer tournaments. It gave me an education.
Yeah.
It gave me a job. It gave me a career. It gave me a business.
Yeah.
It gave me my best friends for life. So I have to be thankful that I ever kicked a soccer ball because it has given me so much that I'm just thankful. Yeah.
No, it's great to hear. It's great to hear. I feel the same, and that's why we're still in it and we're passionate about it. Well, Jose, thank you so much. Please say hello to Erin and Liam from me, and we hope to see you again here soon. Any last comments?
Um, Nick, stay in touch because the future looks bright for Chicago City, and I don't want to miss on that.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So stay in touch. Keep doing what you're doing, Nick. You're an amazing mentor. You're an amazing leader. And like I said, you are the best coach I've ever seen teaching the game. So keep doing that so others, people in my shoes, can see how you teach the game and can also relate to that and find themselves, you know. It was important for me to find myself as a coach, find my coaching voice,
Right.
find my ideas, you know, because everybody has different ideas. Soccer is the same game. but everybody has different ideas on how to play the game.
Right.
So Chicago City for me, like I said, was my dream job. I miss you guys, and hopefully one day we'll be sitting on the same table again.
Hopefully, Jose. Hopefully.
I miss those meetings.
Yeah, right. Now it's a nicer place now. This is HQ.
I love it. I love it, Nick.
All right, man.
Congratulations with everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Stay
Appreciate it.
safe,
We'll talk
Nick.
soon. All the
Say
best.
hi to everybody for me.
I will do. Thank you, Jose.
Bye, Nick.